All right, here we go. We're talking about 6.2. This is math 1. We're going to talk about permutations a little bit. We're going to talk about factorial and some other things. So 6.2, permutations. Did I spell that right? Permutations? Did I spell that right?
Yes.
Okay. Permutations. Big thing is you need to put that order matters. Later, when we get to combination, order doesn't matter. Okay, but big thing with permutations is that order matters. Okay, consider the word April. All right, we're in the month of April. How many letters do you see in the word April?
5.
There are 5 letters. Okay, how many different ways could you arrange those letters in the word April? Well, you have 5 slots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many choices, A, P, R, I, or L, how many choices do you have for the first slot?
5.
You have 5 choices. It could be any of those letters. But once I pick one of those letters and I put it in the first slot,
You only have 4.
then you can't use it again. Right? So how many choices would you have for the second slot?
4.
4, 3, 2, and then the last one you would only have 1. This in itself is a permutation. You are saying you have 5 different letters and you had to choose all 5 of them. Okay? We have a way of figuring up this, right? 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and it's called 5 factorial. Van Tassel said that that was 5 emphatically.
Yeah.
So it's 120.
It is.
That's right. If you do that on your calculator or in your head and say 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, you get the answer, which is 120. You have 120 different ways of arranging the the letters in the word April. You have 120 different ways of arranging those. You have 5 choices for the first slot. You have 4 choices for the second slot, and so on and so on. Okay? How would you do 8 factorial? Just if I said a problem and it said 8 factorial, how would you do that?
8 times 7.
8 times 7 times 6 times 5, blah, blah, blah. Okay, all the way down to 1. Is there a factorial button on your calculator?
Yes.
Yes, there is. Everybody get your calculator out and look at it. Please don't talk. Please don't talk. Please don't talk. The factorial button is underneath the mode button. You have to hit shift. So everybody type in 8 factorial on your calculator and tell me what it is. How much? 40,320. Is that right?
That's legit.
Okay. So there's no reason for you to try to do that by hand. Your calculator will do that for you. You're allowed to use the calculator on the EOCT and on the test next week. Okay? But conceptually, you need to know that 5 factorial is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Okay? Now, what if I wanted to change this up a little bit? And instead of 5 choose 5, what if I just wanted to say 5 choose 3 or 5 choose 2? Well, we need a way of distinguishing between those two. The way we write this out is we say 5P5. This is meaning that there are 5 letters in the word April, and we chose all 5 of them. And it equals 5 factorial, which ultimately equals how much?
120.
120. There were 120 different ways. But let's say that I want to say 5 choose 3. If I only want to choose 3 blanks, not all 5, how would this impact this? Instead of there being 5 blanks, how many blanks are there going to be?
3.
There's only going to be 3 blanks. I'm only choosing 3. But did the numbers change? How many choices do I have for the first blank?
5.
I still have 5 for the first blank. How many do I have for the second blank? 4. And how many do I have for the third blank? 5 choose 3 is simply 5 times 4 times 3, which is 20 times 3, which is how much? 60. Okay? Now let's talk about that again. I threw a lot at you there. 5 choose 5 is written like this. These are subscripts. There's a button on your calculator. I'll show you in just a minute. 5 choose 5 is simply 5 factorial. 5 slots, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You do it on your calculator, you get 120. There's 120 choices when you say there are 5 letters and I want to choose all 5 of them. If I change that and I say 5 choose 4, or 5 choose 3, or 5 choose 2, we need a way of writing that. Well, this is the notation. 5 choose 3. Order matters. The first slot, you got 5 choices. In the second slot, you only have 4 choices. In the third slot, we stop, and we only have 3 choices. 5 times 4 times 3 is 60. 20 times 3 is 60. Okay, questions? I'm ready to do another example.
Wait,
Any
okay,
questions?
do you have a factorial for the second one?
You do. There's a formula that I made you copy down. It's n factorial over n minus r factorial. But it's much easier just to know if I'm choosing 3, then I only have 3 choices. And I say 5 times 4 times 3. That formula is a little difficult to me. Bella?
What would you put for like where it says 5 and the exclamation mark? What would you put beside the 5 choose 3?
Right here. That's what she was asking, and you don't really have one.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to line it up so that you see the correlation between this one. When it's 5 choose 2, or 5 choose 3, or 5 choose 4, then you put that many blanks. You start at the top and work your way down, and then when you stop, then that's it. What would 5 choose 2 be? Well, the notation would be a 2 right there, and what would 5 choose 2 be?
5 times
Just
4.
do 2 blanks. 5 times 4, and the answer would be how much? 20. Piece of cake. Okay, 5 choose 2. There's only 20 variations of that. Okay, questions? Yes?
On the choose, you're just doing the first of how many ever?
That's right.
From greatest to smallest?
That's right. Greatest to smallest. All right, let's do another example. Let's see what we got here. How do I read the first one there?
6 factorial.
There's 6 letters. I'm choosing all 6. All right, let's look at our calculator and see if this will do it for us. We know from previous that this is simply equal to 6 factorial, which is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. I could do all that in my head, maybe. I could do it on a calculator, right? But let's see if there's a permutation button on our calculator, and there is. Does everybody see the multiplication button?
Mm-hmm.
Look right above the multiplication button.
Oh my God.
Type in 6, P6, and hit equals.
720.
And what does it tell you?
Oh my God.
720. Your calculator will do 6 choose 6 for you. Everybody perks up when I show you how to do it on the calculator.
I love this.
That's right. Right? Does it do it for
It's
you?
amazing.
Okay. Now do 6 letters, choose 5 of them.
720.
What does it do then? How do we get 720? Why is it the same for 6 choose 6 as it is 6 choose 5?
Yeah, because 1.
What's the only one you're dropping off?
1.
1, and that doesn't change anything. Will that always be the case?
No.
Will 11 choose 11 and 11 choose 10, will they always be the same?
Yes.
Yes. How about 23 choose 23 and 23 choose 22? Will they be the same? Yes, always. All right. How about 6 choose 4? What's that going to drop off? What do you divide that by to get that answer? You're just dropping off that and that, right? You're only choosing those 4 blanks. Okay, and what do you get? 360. And so on and so on. Okay? Questions? Yes?
Do they all deal with positive numbers?
They're always positive integers. Very good. And this is one thing I didn't talk about. What is 0 factorial?
0.
It says it in your notes. 0 factorial is defined to be 1. Write that down.
Wow.
0 factorial is designed to be defined as 1.
So are you choosing one of the
It's very confusing. Just kind of memorize it and don't worry about it. David?
possible